Hi guys, Mike back again with the 1,000 subs competition question and answer video and results. So those of you that don't know, well I'm sure most of you are, I hit 1,000 subs over Christmas, was a little bit slack in putting the video up and started a competition which finished yesterday on the 27th of March. So the premise of the competition basically was for you to ask me a question to get your entry in, and that was that. And I was going to make a series of videos answering all the questions and then doing a draw. So that's as simple as that. So this is the video to answer all the questions, and at the end, once I've answered all the questions, I will I'll do the draw. Thing is though, it's been quite a successful little competition, if I'm honest. I've had 127 questions from 81 individual people. So that's a fair number of people entering the competition. So that's my most successful competition so far. So thank you one and all. And 127 questions. So it's going to take me a second to answer all these questions. I think it's going to take me a while. So what I'll probably do is do sort of 20-minute videos just answering questions and then upload them. And then when I've finished answering all the questions, I'll do a draw video as well. Because, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take me to answer all these questions actually. Some of them will be really quick to answer, and some of them will take a minute and a bit of thought, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so we're just going to crack on. I mean, I've got my little clock running here, so I'm going to go for 20-minute videos, really, because sitting here hearing me bleat on for hours answering questions. I don't know, maybe you like that or maybe you don't. So, but anyway, I'm going to just start answering questions. So, first question, Idic Beer. Nick over at Idic Beer, he was I think he was the first one to ask a question, in fact. So, oh no, maybe he was the second, actually. But anyway, yes, whatever. So, nice comp, Mike. My winning question is a winning question. So, those of you that don't know, Nick has got a bit of a reputation for winning competitions. So, we'll see how he goes in this one. So, his winning question, apparently, how many hours a week do you spend in that glorious hobby room of yours? And how many of those hours do you spend looking at your wonderful Blood Angel display cabinets? Notice he said the wonderful cabinets, not the wonderful Blood Angels, but there we go. I think me and Nick have got a bit of a thing with, he doesn't like Blood Angels, and I don't like all his Xenos races, so, you know, it's all a bit of friendly banter, but there we go. How many hours a week do I spend in my glorious hobby room? Well, my glorious hobby room is also my office. I work from home occasionally, but I also travel the country as part of my job. So I try and work from home one day a week. Preferably a Friday, if I'm honest. So I'd probably spend 10 hours on my working from home day in my office. But you know, I surround myself with all lots of nice things, my hobby stuff, and things that distract me potentially. So 10 hours a week I would spend in my office working from home, and then maybe about an hour a day, sort of the other days of the week. So another 4 hours in the week, just sort of pottering about or doing some HMS Victory. Or just you know, I just like being in this room. It's quite nice. Or watching YouTube videos. I mean, I watch YouTube videos in here, and I mean, I tend to watch YouTube videos more than I watch TV, if I'm honest. So yeah, maybe an hour a day, maybe a couple of hours a day, but it really depends. It really depends. So maybe 15 hours a week, including a 10-hour work day in my hobby room. And how many hours do I spend looking at the wonderful Blood Angel display cabinets? Not very much, actually. I'm kind of used to them now. They're part of the furniture and part of the room, so. I do like having a look when I'm building a new squad or kind of sorting out through my army and deciding what I'm going to buy next. I'll have a look, and I have a little thing where I'll rearrange all the cabinets. I'll pull everything out and then rearrange the cabinets. So, but clearly, I mean, I do that maybe once every 3 months, every 6 months. Give the shelves a bit of a dust, and give the figures a bit of a dust as well. So you know. So yes, so there we go. Hope that answers the question. The Diomede F16. His name is Ian, and so he says all the 40k stuff is beyond me. I enjoy seeing how everyone paints up their weird and wonderful creatures, though. If you did historical wargaming, which period and which army would you choose? Well, I suppose at the moment, from a historical point of view, I mean, I like the Dead Man's Hand stuff, the Old West, the Wild West. That kind of late 1800 type period from that perspective, and you know those characters really did exist, didn't they? So I like that area. I mean, it was a little skirmish game. It's quite cheap to get into. So I do like the Old West stuff, but I was watching a video, I can't remember who said it. They said when you kind of hit your late 30s into your 40s, you know, a switch goes off in your head where you have this compulsion to start collecting World War II era minis, and it has with me. I mean, I really would love to get into bolt action and sort of start collecting a World War II army. I'm really interested in World War II history, so that's a possibility. But I also like the ancient sort of the ancient periods, I suppose. Ancient Rome. I mean, I'd love to have sort of a huge Spartan army, maybe, or you know, a Roman army, stuff like that. You know, with like the barbarians and that kind of period of history as well. I like that. So yeah, I think I'd go for that. I mean, I've got the Old West stuff, but I'd like to get into World War II or kind of ancient historicals, I suppose, would be my choice. Okay, so courage and honour. Well done on the subs, sir. Thank you very much. What do you do whilst painting? Music videos, YouTube, etc. While I'm painting, I tend to paint in the lounge downstairs, so I tend to watch films that I've generally seen before, so I just chuck a film on and paint. Or I will watch YouTube videos through the telly, potentially. I'll do that sometimes. Music, not so much actually. I'm used to be into my music quite a lot, but not so much anymore really. I tend to watch YouTube videos or films or TV shows, basically. So there we go. Ian Jeffrey, congrats on the 1,000 subs, sir. And a question, tough one. I remember end of last year you regretted buying Shield of Baal Deathstorm. What is your biggest regret in tabletop gaming? Either doing or not doing something to do with the hobby. My biggest regret is not learning how to play the game that I collect, I think is my biggest regret. I've been collecting Blood Angels for 27 years. 27 years. And I think not learning how to play the game. I used to play D&D and AD&D back in the day. My mate's dad was the dungeon master, and we used to meet up on a weekly basis and play D&D. It was really good. And we used to buy the old Warhammer minis, like the Minotaurs and the Goblins and different monsters and dragons and stuff to have the minis in Dungeons and Dragons, but and the hero minis, of course. So I was playing that really, but collecting Blood Angels because I liked that kind of futuristic space marine, you know, at the time, and still do, to be fair. So I think my biggest regret is not learning how to play the game, which I'm going to try. Well, I'm going to try and rectify it this year. I've got a mini rulebook. I got the rulebook with the Shield of Baal Deathstorm box set, which you mentioned. So I've read the rulebook twice, but I think reading the rulebook just as a document, it's tricky. There's so many rules. I mean, it's nuts. And I think I've got the basic rules in my head, but clearly because I don't play the game, I'm not used to the rules, and I forget stuff, and trying to incorporate the rules of my Blood Angel army into that as well, and knowing what my opponents can do as well. It's a heck of a feat, really. So I'm really kind of impressed by all you guys who play this game, because it's seemingly quite complicated, but I really would like to learn it, and I think that's my biggest regret, not learning it. But there we go. Like I say, try and rectify it this year. Farron Adams, congratulations, mate. Here's my question: if you were in the 40k universe and you went out for a few pints with the lads, what would your answer be to talk your way out of a drinking contest with the Blood Angels chapter? Well, seeing as I'm a lifelong Blood Angels fan and collector through and through, I think you just have to step up and join in with the drinking contest with the Blood Angels chapter. And I mean, you probably die, wouldn't you? To be fair, because you know they're clearly superhuman and 8 feet tall and they've got multiple organs, etc., etc. So yes, clearly. I mean, do Blood Angels even? I mean, I don't think a Space Marine could even get drunk, could they? I mean, they've got a toxicity thing, haven't they, where they can kind of pass toxins through their bodies. So would they even get drunk? So yeah, I'd be I'd be on the floor, wouldn't I? So, but I think you'd have to step up and do it. So there we go. I wouldn't talk myself out of it, or try and talk my way out of it. So there we go. Terrain Direct. Congratulations on the subs, mate. Thank you. So I know you're into hobby rockets. What's your favourite one, and how high did it go? This is okay. My favourite one. My favourite one. I don't know if you can see it. It's that one there, the white one. So yeah, it's the big white one there. It's called Pitbull. it's it's a fictitious missile. Basically, it's an ground to air missile, and it's like I say, it's fictitious. It's not based on a real missile. I've had rockets in the past that are based on real missiles. I've had a quarter scale AMRAAM, and I've had scale Seawolf. So yeah, I mean, I quite like the and the Honest John. I've had those rockets that are actually scale models of missiles. That one's a fictitious missile. That one went. What was the question? How high did it go? It only went about 4,000 feet. That one, but it weighs about 20 kilos. So I mean, it was a heck of a launch. It was a really successful launch. So that was, I think it's probably my best launch, or my favourite launch ever. And retrieved it, no damage. It was really good. My best milestone, I suppose, in rocketry is a little minimum diameter rocket, which 2.1 inch diameter, and the motor in it was about 2 inch diameter. So it's like a minimum diameter rocket, is what we call it. And that broke the speed of sound. So that went about 800 miles an hour, and it's did about 6,000 feet, which is just over a mile. So that was a brilliant launch, and did that at a model aircraft show. They invited us to launch some rockets as a display session, and yes, broke the sound barrier and flew to over a mile high and retrieved the rocket, and that's the one up there. That one up there, that one up there, hanging up above the window. That's my mile high rocket, and broke the speed of sound. So yes, there we go. Okay, the next question is from the Runesmith, who says, being a Star Wars fan, what were your feelings when you heard that Lucas sold to Disney and that J.J. Abrams was slated to direct the 7th film? I don't know, I've got an open mind about it all, really. I mean, I'm building the Millennium Falcon. I was just looking at the blueprint on the wall there, and I'm not sure if it looks right with Disney emblazoned across Star Wars. You know, that I suppose that takes a bit of getting used to. But I'm hopeful for J.J. Abrams' vision of the Star Wars universe. I really enjoyed the Star Trek films that he did. I liked the direction they kind of went in, and the way they were made and the stories. So I'm really hopeful that they're going to be great. And in fairness, I mean, episodes 4, 5 and 6, absolute classics without question. And then before Lucas sold to Disney, and while Lucas was still at the helm, we had episodes 1, 2 and 3. So, you know, I don't think that Lucas owning the rights and being in control of the films, I don't know, did it any favours. So it'd be nice to see someone a new vision, really. So there we go. Jason Pryor. My question is, if you could invent something to change the world, what would it be and why? Oh, blimey heck. That's very complicated. I'm not sure. I might have to get back to you on that one. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Something to change the world. Blimmin' heck. I mean, I suppose it would be something to, you know, so that people can you know, have fresh water and can have food and shelter and be free from disease. You know, I suppose it's that kind of thing, really, where you know, clearly there's a huge disparity between what the Western world has, you know, in the first world and the third world, if it's still referred to as that. You know, there's a massive disparity between what people have and what people haven't got across the world. So, you know, I suppose it's you know, having that parity of people being able to live decent lives, you know, across the world, I suppose. That's very deep. Anyway, next one, Praetor Luke. Congrats on getting over 1,000 subs. What is your rule in 40k? Again, I don't play the game, so I haven't got any rules. So there's quite a quick one there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many questions we've got here. that will ask about me playing the game, I suppose, or something in relation to it. But never played the game, so don't have any rules. Martin McNeil, congrats, mate. Mine's a dual question, really. Billy, being a fellow Star Wars fan, I notice you don't have X-Wing and wondered if you plan to get both X-Wing and the new Imperial Assault at any time. If not, what are your reasons? Excuse me. I did actually think about it. I mean, again, because I work a lot, and don't really get a chance to get together with my mates and sort of game on a regular basis. And I play a lot of solo board games. I mean, all of the games back up on the shelf there a solo play, and as far as I'm aware, X-Wing is not solo play, and Imperial Assault is not solo play. So yeah, I mean, I half thought about getting into X-Wing just to collect the minis, basically, but yeah, I kind of think I've gone too far now, and it's been out for too long now for me to sort of start. So that's my reasons, really. So Untka. I think I'm curious about are all the rockets you see in the background of some of your vids. Looking at the amount, it seems like your hobby you're passionate about. How did you get started? Are those kits you assemble, or do you build them from scratch? Is it a one-man operation? Are you a group of rocket scientists experiment with different shapes, sizes, etc.? I got into rocketry when I was about, back in the day, actually, probably when I was about 14, something like that. It's a long time ago now. All of the kits I've got are model kits you can buy, and you can buy like a tiny kit, like, you know, a few inches tall, or you can buy kits that are 8, 9, 10 foot tall, and weigh a ton and cost a fortune to launch. You can also buy the component parts, so you can scratch build rockets, or you can cut out your own fin shapes. I mean, you tend to buy the tubing and stuff. There is a United Kingdom Rocketry Association. So, I mean, if you were to Google United Kingdom Rocketry Association, you'd find information on UK rocketry, and there are clubs around the country. As you know, I live in Wales, and we have a rocketry club in Wales, and there's a few of us that get together on a monthly basis and launch rockets, basically. So yes, that's my kind of hobby. But I mean, it's a little bit less so now. I don't tend to do it as much as I used to. So WG Revival, why Blood Angels? Not in a hostile way, just curious. And seriously, tell us about cheese. Yeah, I think in my very first in the announcement video, I think I gave one of the example questions of what's your favourite type of cheese. And in answer to that, it's not a strong cheddar. I like a really strong, mature cheddar. A bit boring, really, but yeah, there we go. That's my favourite cheese. Why Blood Angels? I saw an article in an old White Dwarf. I think it was an Andy Chambers article showing a Blood Angels army. Basically, it was using the minis from Rogue Trader RTB01. For those of you that remember that. And I picked up RTB01 at the time and created a Blood Angel army, and it was my first kind of foray into 40k, and really I've followed it through since then. I mean, it was my first, like I say, first foray into 40k, and just sort of continued, really. It'd be weird not doing Blood Angels. I mean, I kind of half thought, I might start. I quite like Dark Angels. I quite like the fluff behind them. But yeah, never kind of got into them, and Space Wolves as well. Actually, I like the sort of kind of unique chapters, I suppose, you know. So, but yeah, just because of that article, I suppose, got me into it, and I've been into it ever since. So Tom Smith, congratulations on 1,000 subs. My question is, how do you go about painting a model? Do you batch paint or paint the models individually? To what standard are they normally painted? Wargaming display. How do you choose the colour you'll paint for non-Blood Angel miniatures? So what do I do? Batch paint the models individually. It depends what I'm doing. I mean, if it's an individual model, clearly I'll paint it individually. Squads of 10 Marines, I'll paint all 10 at once, but kind of do them in batches of 5, just because 10's a lot in my head. I can't kind of get my head around painting 10 minis all at once, so I do them in batches of 5, or I might do 3, 3 and 4, something like that. So yeah, I mean, and I tend to I'm quite segmented really, so I don't tend to start painting something new until I've painted what I've got on the table at the moment. So at the moment I've got the Contemptor Dreadnought just in the spray booth being primed. You know, the one with it crushing the Necrons. So that's on the painting block at the moment. So I won't paint anything else now until that's done. And clearly that's just an individual model, so I'll paint that individually. It depends really. When I'm doing squads of Marines, I'll paint them to a decent tabletop standard. I think I paint to a decent tabletop standard. But sometimes, you know, just when the paint is flowing right and you're just really in the zone, you know, I can paint to a pretty decent display standard. Certainly not competition standard. But yeah, I mean, pleasing enough to me, pleasing enough that they look good in the cabinet. You know, so yeah, I mean, anywhere between a decent tabletop standard and a decent display standard. You know, just before you get to that sort of competition standard, really. I mean, I've never really sat down and painted a mini and spent hours and hours and hours and hours on it. You know, well, maybe I have spent hours and hours and hours on it, but I mean, I don't know how long these guys spend painting minis. You know, like the Golden Demon entries and stuff. I mean, I suppose it's dozens and dozens, and hundreds of hours probably. So I've never actually tried to sit down and paint something for 100 hours. So you know, yeah, decent tabletop, decent display. And how do I choose the colours? I mean, I'm a big fan of the colour wheel. So I mean, I'll start off with a colour that I think I like, or a colour that I don't use very much. I mean, I use red a lot, clearly, in Blood Angels, and then I use blue because that kind of counts as the red with Blood Angels. So I like to use sort of browns and earthy tones and greens, things like that, if I'm painting something else, and then I'll use the colour wheel then to kind of complement colours on the particular model. So that's what I do. 33 Clay Dog. Congrats on the subs, mate. Well deserved. My question is, what's your favourite super heavy or war machine in the 40k universe, and why do you own one? Reaver, my Reaver Titan, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Speaks for itself. It's just a quality model. I love it. I love the Reaver Titan. There we go. That's it. Right. Okay, we're only on. What are we on? Blimmin' heck, we've only done 14 questions, and this video is getting on for 20 minutes already, or it might have just surpassed 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop there. This is going to be question and answer session 1, and we'll just keep going, and I will draw the competition at some point. Okay, so that's it for me for now, and I'll catch you on the next vid. Cheers, guys.